People often ask me what it is like to live at number 10 Downing Street. Honestly, it is mostly quite peaceful. You sleep, you eat, you inspect the furniture, you occasionally chase something that shouldn't be there, and every few years, someone new moves in. They usually arrive with cameras, they shake a lot of hands, they make promises, and then they leave. I stay. My name is Larry. I am the chief mouser to the cabinet office. And after 15 years at number 10, I have had 7 prime ministers. 7. So I thought it might be time to give you my personal review. Who was the best? Who was the worst? And who did I barely have enough time to notice? Let's begin.
David Cameron was Prime Minister when I arrived at number 10 in 2011. So technically, he was my first boss, although I prefer to think of myself as his senior colleague. I was brought in because number 10 had a mouse problem. He was brought in because Britain had a political problem. We both had jobs to do. I think I handled mine rather better. Cameron was around for quite a while. He had the sort of calm confidence that suggested everything was under control. Then came Brexit, and suddenly, everything was not under control. He left number 10 in 2016. I stayed, obviously. Larry's rating, 7 out of 10. Good first boss. Excellent door. Could have stayed longer.
Then came Theresa May, a very different sort of prime minister. Quiet, serious, always looking like she had just discovered another enormous problem waiting on her desk. And there were plenty of those. Brexit was still there, the government was under pressure, the newspapers were never happy. And somehow, I was still expected to catch mice. Priorities. I actually quite liked Theresa. She seemed to understand something important about number 10. The building may belong to the government, but the cat belongs to the building. She also had the great honor of standing outside number 10 while I casually appeared nearby. The photographers loved it. Politicians like to believe people are looking at them. Sometimes they are looking at the cat. Larry's rating, 8 out of 10. Very respectable. Excellent composure.
Boris arrived. Now, Boris was different. Very different. There was always something happening. There were announcements, meetings, arguments, hair. Lots of hair. And occasionally, a dog. His name was Dylan. We did not always see eye to eye. To be honest, I don't think I particularly wanted to. Then came COVID, and Downing Street became a very serious place. Britain was going through one of the most difficult periods in modern history, and yet, somehow, the Prime Minister's residence still contained a cat who could be found sitting on the pavement as if nothing unusual was happening. That was me. Calm, professional, emotionally unavailable. Eventually, Boris left. I remained. Once again. Larry's rating, 6 out of 10. Too much excitement. Too much hair. Not enough naps.
Then there was Liz Truss.
Liz.
This is going to be a short review, because her premiership was short too. She became Prime Minister in September 2022. She left in October. 49 days. I have had naps longer than that. By the time I had properly memorized her schedule, she was already packing. Still, I don't like to judge people too quickly. So let's just say she didn't give me much time to collect evidence. Larry's rating? Too short to judge. Although the lettuce was apparently quite impressive.
Then came Rishi Sunak. A very different atmosphere. Everything seemed organized. Very organized. Perhaps too organized. There were spreadsheets, there were meetings, there were more meetings about the meetings, and there was always someone in a suit. I have nothing against suits, but they are terrible for sleeping on. Rishi stayed at number 10 considerably longer than Liz, and during his time, I continued doing what I always do: patrolling, watching, waiting, and occasionally reminding everyone that the front door is not exclusively for politicians. Eventually, another election came, another government changed, and another prime minister left. I stayed, naturally. Larry's rating, 7 out of 10. Very tidy. Possibly too tidy. Then came Keir Starmer. Now, Keir had something most of my previous prime ministers didn't. He had a cat family of his own, which meant I had to take him seriously. He arrived at number 10 in 2024, and for a while, things became relatively calm. Well, as calm as British politics ever gets. Keir had his meetings, I had mine. He dealt with politicians, I dealt with mice. I would say our responsibilities were roughly equal in importance. Then, in 2026, Keir left, and once again, the black door opened. I didn't move. Why would I?
Andy Burnham. And now, Andy Burnham, number 7. He arrived at number 10 in July 2026. 7 prime ministers, 15 years, 1 cat. At this point, I have stopped trying to remember their slogans. I just learned where they keep the comfortable chairs. Andy has promised to bring stability back to British politics. I wish him luck. He's going to need it, because I've heard that before. And if there's one thing I have learned during my years at number 10, prime ministers talk about stability. Cats actually provide it. Larry's rating? Still under observation.
So, who was the best? Now you probably want to know, which prime minister was my favorite? Well, I'm a civil servant. I am not supposed to take political sides, so I can't possibly tell you. Cameron? Quite pleasant. May? Very respectable. Boris? Energetic. Truss? Brief. Sunak? Organized. Starmer? Serious. Burnham? Too early to tell. But there is another way to look at it. 6 of them have already left. 1 has just arrived. And I am still here. That's the funny thing about number 10. Governments change. Political parties change. Prime ministers change. The newspapers change. The country changes. But some things remain exactly where they were. The black door, the red box, the cameras, and one very old cat, waiting patiently for his next dinner. So, after 7 prime ministers, who was the best and who was the worst? I'm not going to tell you. But if you ask me, I already know. It was the one who understood the most important rule of Downing Street. Never disturb the cat. And remember, I was here first, and I'll probably be here after you've all gone.